To capture my instant Martians, you'll have to use this vacuum compressor. When an instant Martian comes anywhere near it, activate the compressor with your remote control. The instant Martian will be compressed and sucked in, then sent to me through this pipe. Won't that be lovely?
Hi, this is yesterday's Moose production, and we're back with Sheep Raider, and we're playing level 15, the final level. And I can't decide if this is Mars or Planet X. And I just caught my first Martian soldier guy. And at this point I'm trying to cause a glitch whereby the spaceship over there will disappear. But it doesn't seem to be happening. Okay, let's move on to the first area. Or maybe the second area, depending on how you look at it. Let's read this sign. Warning, unstable gravity. That's right, there's a few areas with different gravities. Warning, beyond the white line, gravity is very low. If you jump, or if your feet lose contact with the ground, you may be lost in space. Let's get it started. Let's go ahead and catch ourselves the second Martian soldier guy. I guess they're called instant Martians. I also found out while playing that Ralph Wolf can actually get sucked into those traps as well. And I'll go ahead and read this sign. No, I can't believe it. You did it on purpose. Don't jump in that area. Okay, it was a test. The area really starts behind the yellow line. That's right. If I were to jump here, I would go floating off into space. Now, capturing the instant Martians in this level is a little bit tricky. Again, I seem to have been using that word a lot throughout this Let's Play, but nevertheless, it has been tricky. However, it is much easier than some of the previous levels. And I didn't make it there. Let's try that again. What's funny is that I fell down, but I didn't go floating off into the space. Yeah, that's what it's called, the space. Okay, here we go. I just wanted to demonstrate what happens. Fortunately, you can swim over to the area with gravity, and that will prevent you from flying off. It actually takes a really long time to fly off into space, so I would not recommend letting it happen. Not that you would. It's also worth mentioning that I did some editing with this level, and I'm recording the voiceover afterwards. Reverse gravity in white areas. And the reason why I did that is because there are certain sections which are more tedious than others. And I really didn't think it was necessary to watch me lose over and over again on the same section. These parts that I'm playing right now are easy compared to what's coming up. I'll talk about the more difficult parts when they become relevant. Warning, black holes. That's right, you can get sucked into black holes. And you actually do have to use their gravitational pull to get you onto the ground. When I first got to this level, I didn't know that you could swim through the air, and that made things a lot more difficult. When I found out that you could do that, I was like, duh, okay, that makes it a lot easier. Okay, here's an example of what happens when you get sucked into a black hole. Fairly undramatic. So let's go ahead and try that again. Alright, now we want to just get up there and not get sucked into the black hole. But you do have to get close enough to it so that you land on the ground. And this instant Martian is really, really easy to capture. Also, this level has quite a few checkpoints. Basically, after you capture an instant Martian, if you can last, say, about 30 seconds to a minute, after that, then the checkpoints seem to kick in. And this part is where things got complicated, and I ended up losing a whole bunch of times because those beams of energy there can hurt you, and there's a part coming up where you have to jump over it, and if you don't jump over it properly, then you end up getting zapped and you have to do the whole section over again. So we also got this mechanic whereby Ralph Wolf gets bigger and smaller, which is kind of cool. But when you're small Ralph Wolf, then the instant Martians can stomp on you. And in retrospect, maybe I should have shown off what that looks like on camera when they stomp on you. And this part here is where things get complicated. You have to jump over that beam. And I didn't make it. So here we go, editing. Let's try that again. What you're looking at right now is probably my 10th try of doing this, because the double jumping over the beams was not as easy as it looks. It's really hard to judge the depth with an over-the-head camera. And now the instant Martian had shrunk itself, and we're already down to 3 Martians remaining, and also there you have to jump over the beam again. And by the way, if you hit the beam and lose, well, then you have to do it all over again. But now the checkpoint is in place. If I were to die now, I would not have to replay that section. And once again, some fancy editing, because this section I found confused me a bit, because you have to turn on and off these beams in the proper order. And also you have to shrink yourself at some point in time. There we go, hop into the machine. And now we got to get that beam of energy out of the way so that we can lure that Martian down. And I kind of find it fun running as little Ralph Wolf. For some reason, when I first played this, I didn't realize that he could run when he was small. Which is kind of silly. It would seem that he should have the same abilities when he's small as he does when he's big. But for whatever reason, it just didn't occur to me. And what I'm trying to do now is I'm trying to become big again and remove that barrier that's on the far left. I'm also trying to avoid being stomped. Now these instant Martians, they just run away from you when you're normal size. They don't do anything to you. We're already down to 2. And I'm going to do some fancy editing again for this section. I think I died about 10 times. Because it may not be obvious, but there's a thing that's chasing me, some sort of machine that shoots out some sort of energy beam. Again, maybe I should have let it get me and shown that on camera, but I'm pretty sure it looks the same as when you get fried by the beams of energy. And that's it, I'm done that section. And I'm pretty sure that if I lose at this point, I just have to replay this section that I'm doing right now. Also, the instant Martians can also step on those buttons and activate them. And at this point, the instant Martian is not really following me the way I want him to. And finally, he's in the right position. And at this point I thought I was dead, but somehow I avoided getting stomped. and captured the final instant Martian. That's it. This level is easy-ish. Probably harder than I made it look in this video. But considering you have quote-unquote infinite lives, that makes it pretty easy.
Good job. We can board now. Well done. As promised, I'm going to take you back to Earth.
And there was a loading screen there that I edited out of the video. Figured we didn't need to see it. But on the PlayStation 1 version, there definitely is a loading screen there. And right there on the floor is the final goal of the game. This part is pretty silly and pointless. You have to go take that sheep and put it in the goal. And I wanted to just show this room here a little bit. And surprise! It was Sam the whole time. Or was it all a dream? Looney Tunes Inception. Once again, this part does need a good night, Sam. Good night, Ralph. There we have it. The end. Yay, we made it. And for some reason I included this loading screen. Oh, because it doesn't last very long. That's why I included it. And now we have the credits, which seem a little bit out of focus for some reason. I think they should have used a better font. Alright, so that was Looney Tunes Sheep Raider for PlayStation 1. It was also available on PC, and the PC version has like no loading times from what I understand. But I still really like this version. I think it's a great game. And now to give it a rating out of 10 moose, I shall give it 9.5 moose because I like it that much. It's got some fun puzzles, awesome voice work. The environments are great. I think it's a great game, and it would be nice if this received an updated version, more modernized version, or even a sequel. That would be great. So at this point, I'm just going to let the rest of the credits play. I have no idea what game I'm going to be playing after this, but stay tuned. So thank you very much for watching. This has been a Yesterday's Moose production, and I'll see you next time.